At Q2, we are fully committed to our community to help promote the successes of local business while shining a light on the path towards starting your own business is an opportunity we couldn't pass up. We are proud to sponsor this airing of Edge of the Plains.
There's a certain craziness that goes along with being an entrepreneur.
It can be a very lonely job.
When I started this, I didn't have anyone to talk to.
All of them are like, you'll never live here, it's too hard to live here, you'll never make it.
That's one of the driving forces behind my work, is just not good enough.
There is failure, right? But you work even harder.
I've been learning my whole life and it doesn't stop.
Why did it work? Was it me? Was it the town? Was it the setup? Was it just happenstance? And then the next steps are, how do we duplicate that? So that way we can build America back up one small town at a time.
There's a hole there. That looks like, yeah, I bet there's a toad in there. I'll go over there.
Who's fishing what? Going over there?
I'll go over there. I like Montana because there's a river or every valley. The fishing's good, fly fish in particular. If you're doing it and you start wandering and thinking about other things, whether it be work or something like that, you just end up in a huge knot. So it's a good way to singularly focus, I think. And that water is about as close to melted snow as you can get right now. I mean, it was so cold, it burned. I bet every game warden in the world has a story of somebody drowning and dying, wading. We went fishing with this guy named Devin. He's a super fishy dude, he was awesome. He just ate shit today in the river. You catch more fish if you're not falling down. But he didn't wear rock treads and busted his ass this morning in the frozen ice melt. Hi, I'm Forrest Rogers.
Hi, I'm Scott Boggs.
And we're here to tell you about rock treads.
What? Hey, buddy, get a grip.
Rock treads.
There's this one river in Tennessee, the Watauga, that has a section you can only get to by boat. So we borrowed somebody's old-ass aluminum canoe. Every time we'd hit a rock, we'd stick, and you couldn't shimmy it across the rock. And it was always Scott's fault because he was too fat. And but you'd have to get out of the canoe, and you'd drag it over the rock, and then you get back in it, make it 3 feet down, and get stuck on another rock. It's like, man, that sucked. That canoe was horrible. Why did it stick to the rocks every time? And then it was like, huh. It was made out of aluminum, and I wonder what that is. So Scott's a financial planner. One of his customers was a machine shop. Said, hey, can you make me some aluminum coins? And I want to countersink the hole in it so I can screw them onto my boots. And the guy's like, what? And he goes, well, what kind of aluminum do you want? I don't know. How big around do you want it? I don't know. How thick do you want it? I don't know. That was Rock Treads version 1. We can take it. Competitive fly fishing it's not a huge deal here, but it's on TV over there in Europe. They love it. Who knew that existed? I did not until 2016 when this guy walks in my booth and says, I'm world champion Jason Leverst from England. You guys should go. You can be a sponsor, so to speak, but you got to give everybody a set of rock treads, and then you'll get 300 of the world's best to test them and give you feedback. We're at dinner the next day, and this two guys from the Spanish team just dropped their muddy, wet boots on our dinner table, and they're like, "Man, these work great for 2 hours." And they flip them over, and all the rock threads were gone. And it's like, ew, maybe we should have tested these a little better than just us two. So we put our heads down and tried to figure it out.
Can I hold my tea if I want it, or no? Absolutely. Okay. My security cup. And to give you just a little bit of a fact, I'm not only a tea drinker, I like cats, I confess. During the time I was working full-time in dental sales, I set out to invent a disposable litter box. And don't even ask about that whole journey. It was funny, it was crazy, but I needed it. So I knew if I needed it, there were a lot of other people out there that needed it. Well, the Wonder Box went all the way to the top, and it's still on the shelves. It was the most fun project I think I have ever worked on, and it was a flash of, let's see, about 10 years. It was like 1, 2, 3, and it was over. And then Tumblewood happened. I started to research the history of tea out west. What were in those covered wagons that were coming from the East Coast? There were a lot of tea sets where they could have been bringing some very important things with them, but that was important. I was going to bring the finest teas I could find to this part of the country. So it was kind of to benefit myself. Being a pioneer in any part of your life is exhilarating. You're going forward into something that you have no idea of what to expect when you get there, and you bring with you the things that are most important to you. We are now importing teas and ingredients directly from growers all over the world, and packaging everything here and shipping from here all over the country. So we have 150 proprietary recipes for these teas. Most places will use machinery like mixers, almost like little cement mixers. We do not do that. It is all hand blended.
That's good. It's not bitter.
I look back now and I say, wow, where has the time gone? And yeah, look where we've come. Warren, my husband, is retired. I didn't want him stressing over anything. I wanted him to be doing what he wanted to be doing on the little ranch that we've got. That's his dream, and I want him to have it. There's a whole bunch of lettuce. That's nice. Good. Look at them. You can never, ever predict what is going to happen. Nor should you be an entrepreneur in business if you expect definite direction. It comes with its prizes and it comes with its hardships because you're driven.
Rock 31 is a group of entrepreneurs and business advisors that work to ensure that business owners in our region have all the necessary resources and connections to start and grow their businesses, whether that's technical support, help getting capital, or mentorship. We work to ensure that we are creating a really vibrant entrepreneurial ecosystem in and around Billings. The easiest way to reach out is to go to our website, rock31.org, We have a list of all the different services that we offer, the different resources. We have our mentor network listed on there. And so I think that's a great place to start and learn. And then next step would be just to contact us, email us, give us a call and say, hey, look, I'm really interested in starting a business, but I don't know where to start. Maybe I need capital, I need somebody to provide some insights into what I'm just about to get into. Whatever it looks like for you, we're here to make sure that you have what you need to be a success story in and around Billings, Montana.
At Q2, our commitment to community is unmatched, and we're proud to call this our home. As our area continues to grow, we will always have the heart of a small town. 66 years ago, Cook TV began broadcasting. Today, Q2 never stops. We are where you are. We're innovative with creative new content by keeping our finger on the pulse of this community. We're more than a news station. We grow businesses, provide a voice to those who don't have one, help connect rural areas, and most importantly, help make Billings and beyond a better place. When history happens right before our eyes, our cameras are rolling and our reporters are finding the story. We help guide, we tell stories, and we help our neighbors. We are Q2.
Kind of bleak.
Don't say that.
Don't say that. Okay.
Make sure you have a passion, because you need that to have the grit to get through the hard times.
Heads are looking pretty good.
The heads are looking pretty good, Richard. They're just not as tall as they were, and they should be.
Better than I thought it would be.
But the more you do it, the more you see that you can do it, and that's gratifying. Cream of the West has an exciting history in the sense that it started when an implement salesman went out to a rancher's house and was served a roasted wheat that had been ground up in a coffee grinder. He said, "This stuff is good. I think I can sell it." Came back to Billings and formed a company, and it became Cream of the West. Pure and simple, just the ingredients that are in the grain. If it's a 7 grain, it's 7 grains. If it's roasted wheat, it's hard red wheat. It's a Montana icon. People call all the time and say, "I grew up eating that cereal."
You want oats this morning?
Of course.
A little bit extra. A lot of smoke.
Yeah. My husband Richard is from Tudot, Montana. He was born and raised in Tudot, and basically that's where we still live, 9 miles out of Harlow. When we look out our picture window at our house, we can look right at the schoolhouse that Richard attended, grades 1 through 8. I've lived in Harlow for 21 years. It's wonderful. It's a warm community in the terms of everyone wants to help everyone. We're a network of people where you see your friends and neighbors wherever you go. When Harlowton was started, it was a railroad town. And it was not just a 2-track railroad town, it was a switching yard. That's what it was known for, is the railroad. The railroad pulled out in the 70s and Harlow struggled. It lost people, it lost its main source of economy. What's happening to a lot of small towns is people, the sons and daughters that are raised here don't want to come back because there's nothing going on. They can't get the services, there's not hospitals, the schools are, the churches are closing, the schools are closing because there's not enough people. It's important because that's what keeps small economies alive. That's why we can live in a small town.
My mom always says, we've all got to eat, we might as well eat together. And so for me, food is family.
Come on. Come on, girls.
Rana, we can hear you. Go away, please. Go away. We can hear you. It's the fun thing about being with your mom. You tell her what to do sometimes.
Say that again.
No. She'd get mad at me. She's still my mom. I had this older farmer come in one day and telling me about how he grew up out in the field, out in the sun, and he loved what I was doing. He's like, I wish I would have done this 80 years ago. It's an aquaponics greenhouse where we focus mostly on growing lettuce and other leafy greens. So aquaponics is the combination of hydroponics, which is growing plants without soil, and aquaculture, which is raising fish in tanks. Our only input into our system is our fish feed. And so we feed the fish a couple times a day. They take that food and create waste from it. That waste then gets turned into nutrients for the plants. Once the plants use up those nutrients, it then cleans the water for the fish, and so they get nice clean water back to them. We're able to then eat the plants. We also can eat the fish too. And the cycle just keeps going over and over. I think people are used to lettuce just kind of being lettuce. We hear people say, I used to never really eat salad, now it's part of our nightly meal. There are days when I come in and look around and I just see all the work that has to be done. It can be a very lonely job because you're the business owner, you're the one doing from top to bottom, everything in between. It's just my mom and my employee Hope. The idea of just wanting to be done and go work for someone else, be able to clock in, clock out, definitely crossed my mind.
When I was a kid, my father was always working. And the one morning, I was, 8 years old, I think. And he came into my bedroom and he kicked the bed just a little bit. And, he's like, get up. If I'm up, you're up. It doesn't matter what you do. You got to get up and do something. Just up with my boys, and my mother-in-law called and said the cows were in between the fence and the cattle guard. Nothing new, cows break out all the time. And she went over to punch in the password and the keypad was gone. So apparently the cows loved me so much this morning that they rubbed up against it with their hindquarters and broke the keypad off of the post. So we might try and fix this up. Oh, I think they broke it off. Yeah, I'll have to come down later. Fix it up. And then decided to throw some chewed up grass all over it for me at the same time. So it's been a pretty poopy morning with my wife's cows. Lived here for a long time, been out here 20 years, and never would have imagined that I'd have this building here on this piece of property, in this location. People come here and they're like, wow, all this and big timber, Yeah, well, what's the difference? pretty good first 13 years of my life. I always tell people I've basically been on my own since I was 14. So that led us to this.
So this one we had running last night. I left it running all night. So making money while you sleep.
Whenever somebody starts here new or just starts getting into machines, the first thing I apologize for are the dreams. You're thinking about it so much during the day, the numbers, the process, the how-tos, the speeds and feeds, the whys, why didn't this work, why did it work? And you dream about it at night. It becomes part of you. If I had somebody show me this when I was 17 years old, I think my path would have been different. 5 years ago, I didn't know what a thousandth of an inch was. I didn't have any clue of any of this stuff. I didn't have any clients. I didn't have money. So I learned. We make small parts that go into big parts. Every single piece is new, is exciting, is not like the other. A lot of what goes in the air, like search and rescue, delivering supplies where things can't be delivered, magnet stuff, lasers. We do oil and gas, valves and controls that are huge necessities and pretty important projects that can't fail. I've been extremely fortunate in many, many ways in my life. I have an opportunity here that most people don't get. I have a partner. This isn't a free ride by any means. This is just an alternate way to go about it privately. I'm paying for everything. My name is on the wall. We grew really quick, almost too quick. I'm here 15, 16 hours a day. While that's probably not super sustainable, but right now it's a necessity. Fortunately, I have an awesome family that backs me up and understands that. That's the key. Without that, I wouldn't be able to do this. My father is a great man. He did fantastic raising 3 boys pretty much on his own. I never really got to see him unless I met up with him while he was doing paperwork, something like that. And I don't want to be that father to my kids. But until I get the proper people in place who can do everything that I do in a day, then I can start to relax and start being able to put the time and energy into my family as much as I am this. If I'm still pushing this hard, I'm doing something wrong.
One thing that I really want people to take away from this film is that a lot of these successful entrepreneurs here in Montana have the same struggles that we all have. They're not like superheroes, they don't have it all figured out. And so if you're thinking like I'll never make it as an entrepreneur, I hope that this documentary shows that that's just not true. That you have the ability, if you have the passion for it, to be a success story as well.
Slept in the studio last night, woke up, eyes hurting. The sun was trying to wake me up, pounding through the walls, saying, wake up, wake up, wake up, it's time. Balazahuk, Astuptukos Tacheluchis, Beersam Legge, Ashachirik, Beersachik Balagarik. Hello, my name is Ben Pease. I am Crow in Northern Cheyenne, Apsalaga Tissisa. My Apsalaga name steals the guns from 2 enemy camps. It was given to me by my grandfather, who was given the name by Alex Bulltail Sr. I'm an artist. I'm also indigenous. I'm a father, a son, a brother, a husband, a friend. I've been a creative for about 10 years. I'm saving all my smudged tailings so that I can compress them and do a series of drawings in sweetgrass ash. So my painting is part of who I am. It's not just sort of this amalgamation of hues and colors adhered to a substrate. It's not just that. It's my thoughts, it's my feelings, it's my spirituality, it's my personal experience in life. It's the time I've prayed with my elders. It's times I've prayed with my children. This person is one of the great leaders, great dignitaries of the times of transition. His name was Two Leggins. He was a pipe carrier. Back in his day, the only way that a man could better himself was through war and battle and horse raids and owning certain medicines. But in his time, that way of life was dying out, cut short by colonization and assimilation. But he always strove to better himself, and sometimes even to a fault, even to a trip, you know. He was hungry to have more power and more pull and tribe, that it made him make mistakes. Nostalgia can be a crutch, and I've looked down upon my work in the past as being overly or overtly nostalgic. Looking at my grandfathers and grandmothers and deifying them, you know, saying that they were a spiritual being, they were this noble Sheikh savage. You know. I'm not deifying these women or sanctifying them. I am asking questions of value because I was raised by women. And I saw them being mistreated all the time. But in the past few years, I'm realizing these were human beings. They got mad, they got pissed off, they laughed, you know, they had fun. And they obviously made mistakes just like everybody else. And so in seeing the images of my people that were taken by scores and scores, droves of photographers coming to capture this vanishing race, I started to romanticize them and romanticize myself. Hey, that's me. You know, that's what I once was. How come I'm not that anymore? Why do I have to live in a house and drive a truck, you know? I devalue my work as soon as I make it, and I want to make it better every time. I gotta do something better. I could have made it 10 times better. But that's also very idealist because I'm so self-centered as it is. I have to have ethics there in selling my work. So am I then like a cultural profiteer? I have to feed my family, you know, so I have to walk this thin line of how much do I share? Is that saleable? Is it not? And so, why not celebrate myself while I still can? Why not just continue? Why not just do the work? Why not just paint? Who knows? I don't have any answers, and maybe that's what's most scary. Maybe I don't need answers, but I'm still asking questions. I'm going to Big Sky to install my work. I'm gonna give a talk. I'm gonna go dance like a monkey. I'm just kidding. I know you need something that's usable, sorry. I can't just paint all the time. I need to make a living.
Tune in next week for the conclusion of Edge of the Plains. Premiering November 1st, you can watch the full documentary exclusively on our Q2 streaming app. To learn more and find the way to download your copy, visit ktvq.com/streaming.